All right, recording is in session. Because the first things first, before we get started, I know a couple people had asked questions within trading chat around what the longing and the shorting of the entire process was and how it works. So I figured to get started, maybe we can help address some of those questions that people may have around how this works before I get into showing you guys how you can ultimately use free money that's been given to you to make free money. If anyone has any questions regarding just understanding the differences of, feel free to unmute yourself and fire it off. Okay, I guess people are just shy. All right, so what is longing and what is shorting? Ultimately, the idea is that you're betting on what the future of that specific cryptocurrency that you're looking at, what its future is going to look like. So a long would be is betting on the price of it increasing, while a short would be betting on the price of it decreasing. Now, how could you make money off of this? Very much like sports betting or anything else that's out there, you can ultimately bet on the direction that it goes. Now, the beauty of why I wanted to introduce you guys to the KCEX platform is because when you sign up for an account with them, there's 4, 5, maybe even 6 different tasks that you can accomplish when you're getting started in creating your free account, to where when you meet those expectations and tasks, they give you cash bonuses inside of your account that's free money where you can use to start practicing. Signing up automatically gives you $100. You can't withdraw that $100, unfortunately, but it's there for you to be able to use to cover the cost of your fees, or even to make money off of without you needing to put money in there yourself. Additionally, you can take additional steps such as verifying yourself through the KYC program. Just basically upload your driver's license. They verify that you are who you are, and you can earn another $100. And there's other methods to do so as well too. So if we take a look at new user rewards, this is where a breakdown of everything can ultimately be shown. So register an account, they'll give you $100. Complete the account information, so KYC, phone linking, and email linking is another $100. If you personally out of pocket deposit money, that's equivalent to over $200. They give you $10. Once you conduct spot trading, that equates to a value of volume value of $200. They give you another $10. Future trading, $2,000 or more you trade, you get $220 right here. And then utilizing stop losses and take profit triggers automatically. These are different ways that you can do it. Majority of you guys may probably not feel comfortable giving your personal information, so that's okay. What I would just encourage you to do to start off with is just register your account so you can get your free $100. Because then when you get this free $100, that's where you can start the trading process. I wanted to do this call around futures trading, which is betting on the long and the short, because I just feel like it's the easiest way where you can earn money. And what you decide to do with your earnings, which is your profits, is entirely up to you. You could either cash it out and put it in your pocket, or you can ultimately continue to use it within the platform itself to be able to hopefully make more money on top of that. The link to this is posted in trading announcements. So I've pinged it numerous times. Again, there's no information that's required of you. All you do is just create an account with the link that I posted, and then you earn easily $100. With this $100, actually, let me pause real quick. Any questions? There's got to be some questions. Come on, guys. Anyone? All right. Now, understanding how shorting and longing works. So when you come over to the futures page, this is where you would do it. Futures, as it states, it's the future. So you're trying to predict what the future is going to look like. In the drop down menu, there's a variety of different types of coins, crypto coins, that you can select. It shows you some stats around the percentage changes, how much volume is put into play, how much volume it's had, as well as whether if it's, in this case, hot or not. Personally, I like to bet on the future or on the future of the longing or the shorting of Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is the leading cryptocurrency, and other cryptocurrencies tend to move very similarly when it comes down to the price action that happens on their chart in a very similar manner. So if Bitcoin is going up, Ethereum, Solana, other cryptocurrencies will also go up. And then vice versa as well too, is if Bitcoin is coming down, so do the others. Now, additionally, why I also like Bitcoin is because generally when the price action, when it moves, it's in the thousands. So for example, earlier today, it was about an hour and maybe 20 minutes ago. The lowest price point it hit was $57,768. And then almost 2 hours later, it's now come up to $59,000. So had I caught this earlier through paying attention, and had I opened up a long, betting on the long, I would have seen a growth of $2,000 in the chart. Now, depending on how much money I would have put in to start, as well as what my leverage percentage was, which we'll get into in explaining how that works, I would have seen the appropriate percentage growth in that way. So, that being said, let's go through the leveraging and how these steps work. So you have your available funds. So in this case, I have $165 USDT. I've already used my welcome bonuses. I've had my losses. I've had my gains. This is all now real money that's in the account itself. You have different ways that you can start your positions, whether if you're opening for a long or a short. A limit means that you're basically setting a opening or closing of a position based off of a specific price point. So it's, say for example, I'm hoping that the price drops down to 58,980, and I don't want to open my position for my long or short until it's dropped down to 58,980. So then what I could do here is I can set up my limit and say I'm willing to put in $100 once the price reaches 59,880 in the market, and then I could open my long or my short, and then eventually, if and when the price point does drop down to that amount, it'll automatically conduct the purchase into the position. Market means immediate purchase. So I'm gonna open up my position immediately. And then triggering is price triggers. So very similar to limits. You could trigger price based off of where it was last, or you could set a custom one based off and also include what dollar amount that you are wanting to put in. The best thing to do, which I recommend, is if you're going to be experimenting with this, is just stick with the market side of things, because you have control over when you want to open and close your position immediately. And then of course, based off your available balance and how much you're wanting to put in, you could just type in that figure in here. So for example, we'll say that I want to open a position with $10. That's what I'm going to be investing, whether if it be a long or if it be a short. Leverages is another one. So leverages is extremely important to use to your advantage. What is a leverage? So it's a multiplier. The minimum multiplier is a 5x, while the maximum multiplier is 100x. So if I set my multiplier by 5 and I'm only going to be putting in $10, the value that's being put in to where my position is being opened is worth $50. Simple math. $10 times a 5 leverage. If I do 100x leverage and I'm putting in $10, that's 100 times more. So the weight of it, when it comes down to you being able to potentially make profit, is much higher when you have a higher leverage. But there is a risk factor as well too. Think about it this way. If you personally put in $1,000 of your own money, the market goes up by 10%, then so does your $1,000 that you had originally put in. If the market goes down by 10%, same thing. So does the original $1,000 that you had put in. It goes down and decreases at a loss of 10% before you close your position. In this case, you don't have to put in $1,000 yourself, because you can utilize the multiplier leverage system that's in place to be able to increase the weight of how much money you're playing with. So if I do put a 1,000 leverage, because in some ways you're borrowing money, you're not actually borrowing money. It's not like a bank, but in some ways, because it's like borrowing money from KCEX, they're a lot more stingy and a lot more tight on how much of a loss you could potentially incur in your position. So for example, if I do a 5x leverage, I'm being given a cushion so that if I open a long and this happens to just continue to go down, 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 and it never recovers, because you're playing with an additional amount of money that they basically lent you, they say, hey, you opened your position at 59,000, but if the price drops to 58,000, we're going to automatically close your position for you because we don't want to lose funds. That's an example of a 5x leverage. But now if I do a 100x leverage because they're lending you more money in this platform, they're not going to say, yeah, you can let the price drop down by $1,000, no harm, no foul. They will instead say, if the price drops from 59,000 to 100 down to 59,000 flat, for example, we're going to close your position automatically, because they don't want to incur a much higher loss in that sense. Questions? Please, guys, ask questions. This is not something that is openly shared and you guys have knowledge about. I'm here to teach you guys, but I'd like your input, your questions, and your contributions so I can help you understand how this works.
Hey, I got a question, bro.
Sure thing.
Earlier I played pretty much my full 100 on, it might have been Bitcoin, and I think I didn't know what that leverage meant, and I'd only done like a 5x leverage, and it seemed like the payout was like really small, even though I had like maybe a 5% gain on it.
Yep.
Was that because the leverage, it was too low at the time?
Exactly. So when there's no trading fees on the platform, but there are leverage fees. So when you have a 5x leverage, your fee, your borrowing fee in that moment may, for example, be 50 cents. And then if you did the 5 leverage and your growth ended up being $1, as an example, when you close your position, 50% of that got paid to KCEX because of that leverage. Obviously, as you increase the leverage, the fee increases as well too. So if I were to put in my entire portfolio of $165 on 100x leverage, my fees will probably be around $3. So when you are opening or a position, whether if it be for a long or a short, you do want to be a little bit calculated on the decision that you're making in terms of how much money you're putting in, what leverage you're setting, and when you choose to close your position. Because you don't want to bank on like a 5 or 10% growth and then say, okay, I'm done, I'm closing my position. The fees are just going to eat up your profits.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, it didn't seem like, I thought, because I trade like off like Robinhood, just normal stocks and stuff, but I figured like, oh, 5%, whatever, just to try it out. But like shit, I didn't even really make much on it. I think like a couple dollars or $1.
Totally. And that's the beauty of having that free bonus incentive, right? The $100 that they give you automatically is because it allows you to be able to learn the platform, make mistakes without it actually being your own funds. And realistically, like I haven't opened a position today because when I'm looking at the chart action, like I'm not seeing, like I'm seeing growth, but it's not exponential. Like it's just kind of moving sideways and inching up a little bit. But like yesterday, the $70 that I made was, I just happened to catch the chart was literally dumping and going down, and it wasn't recovering. I generally look at, these are called candles. There's red candles, there's green candles. Green candle means it goes up, red candle means that the price is going down. I just happened to see that there were more red candles than there were green candles, so I opened a short position, and then it just dropped down 52% in this case, and I closed my position and I made $70. So timing of it is important, but that free bonus there is for you to make mistakes without it coming literally at the expense of your own pockets, right? So the best thing to do when you guys are comfortable actually playing with a decent amount of money outside of like 10 or 20 bucks is wait for a moment where the chart action is like this. Is like you're seeing big dumps and you're seeing big growths. And that's where you can open up a 25x leverage or a 50x leverage or even 100x leverage if you know what you're doing, to be able to maximize on the profits that you can make. Because circling back to what I had said is, the lower your leverage is, the more leeway you have on the price going up or price going down. So just to like recap that, and please guys, like ask me questions if you're not understanding what I'm trying to explain. It's the borrowing power that you have when you're 5xing. You have a long drop allowance before they automatically close your position and liquidate you. Whereas if you're borrowing a significant more of a leverage, they tighten that up quite a bit, and they say, hey, like we're not going to run the risk of losing more money, so we're going to close your position out in a very you have like a short, very tight and short window. So here is like this gives you the information. So I'm going to put it at $100. Let's do $100. It gives you the information. So if I'm putting $100 in at 100x leverage, I have the buying power right here of 15,886. So right here it says it can go up to 59,533. So right now the price point is at 59,237. So if it goes up to 59,500, in this case is 8, it'll liquidate me. That's the growth. That's how far up they'll allow me to go, because you can't just run with it. And then at the lowest price point, I apologize, that's the lowest. And then the highest price point is 58,944 in this case. So that's the window. Now if I change the leverage down to say 10%, now you can see that that's a lot bigger now. So the growth it'll allow me with their money is 54,869. Like 64,000 is all the way up. Ooh, like it keeps going, right? That's a big stretch. And then same thing with 53,603 being the bottom. 53,603, it's a long stretch. So if I were to, let me just shrink this so you guys can see more and more. Like I have, where is it? 54,000, 64,000. So 64,000 up here, all the way down to 53,000. Like this is a long chart if you look at the reference. That's a big difference. Like that's a $10,000 difference almost. So that I could open up this leverage at 10% and I could leave this for days without worrying about it. The price can keep going up and down, up and down, up and down, and I don't have to worry about my position being closed out automatically because the leverage is only at 10. But when I do it at 100%, that just tenfold. I went from like a $9,000 or $10,000 allowance difference to literally $900 difference. So there's more risk when you have a higher leverage, but you don't open up a higher leverage in a way where you're just going to walk away and not pay attention. You would primarily use it to watch the chart and then close out your position within minutes of having opened it, ultimately. So in this case, when I look at the price action, I'm seeing it constantly go up. So to demonstrate for you guys what that looks like, let's do, I don't do 100% of my portfolio. I don't recommend doing that. Let's just do, for the sake of 25% of my portfolio. Actually, we'll do 50%. 50% of my portfolio. So I'm not going to open my position just yet. I'm just waiting to see if I'm going to get a green candle indicating it's going up or a red candle indicating that it's going down. So I got a green candle. So let's open the position, and here we go. So now, based off of my investment, I bought in at 80 bucks. That was half my portfolio. This is the fee right here. And as you can see here, it's already growing. So it's grown by 14%, 11, 14, 20 bucks, 26 bucks. And it's still going. Whenever I close my position, it'll be less $1.58 because that's what my cost of borrowing, so to speak, is. Now, automatic liquidation, if shit hits the fan and it automatically dips, like it'll do that closer to the bottom. My leverage is pretty small. Actually, yeah, I did 100%. Never mind. Yeah, so my leverage is pretty small, right? My leverage allowance is pretty small. So if it had not gone up and it just went down, it could have gotten liquidated down here because there was only a margin of $800 or $900 in growth or decrease that it would allow. But in this case, luckily it went up just based off of what I recognized, and I'm currently at this state up $8.70. Price action is never linear. It doesn't just keep going up, so you're going to expect to see red candles before it transitions and goes over to green candles. Now shit could hit the fan and this could completely drop. If it drops and I get liquidated, meaning my position got closed out automatically, I don't owe these guys the amount of leverage. So like it's $8,000 of leverage. I don't owe them $8,000. I just lost my 80 bucks that I had initially used as my buy-in. That's really all that it is. So what you put in is always what you're going to end up losing. And then if you end up gaining, well, you gain off of that 80 bucks, that $8,000 that you had put in. So in this case, my $8,000 with a 6% growth is equating to $5. Now I'm not going to close my position at $5 because I have to pay $1.58 in fees. So realistically, I would just kind of let this ride out. And if I'm noticing that I'm going to be losing a lot of money, then yeah, I'll probably end up closing my position. But based off the chart action, it is very evident that it's going up. So even if this goes into the red, I'm not going to be worried about it because, again, you could look at it. Here's the 5-minute chart. You could see it. It's just been continuously growing. I wouldn't be surprised if this peaks and keeps going up until 60,000. Because another reason why I like the Bitcoin chart is because it's kind of predictable. When I look at the chart action, you could see constant trends of just like it goes up to 60,000, comes back down, goes back up to 60,000, goes back down, just keeps going. So, questions?
Hey, you said when you get liquidated, you lose 100% of them, whatever you put in, basically, when it auto sells for you.
That's right, and it's only what you put in. So in this case, I put in 82 bucks. So if I get completely liquidated, I lose 82 bucks.
Gotcha.
Yeah, the leverage is borrowed amount, but that's not something that I'm responsible for. I don't owe these guys $8,000. I just lost what I lost. That's the beauty of this.
Question. So is there a time limit on how long you have to hold this position, or can you hold it as long as you want?
There's no limit. It's entirely up to you, right? You could let this run for hours as far as I'm concerned, right? But the auto liquidation is based off of your leverage. So as we saw, there was a $900 difference. So if there's a $900 growth in the chart, I'll automatically get liquidated. If there's a $900 decrease in the chart at a loss, I'll also get automatically liquidated. But then the difference is like if it went up, that's my profit. If it went down, that's my loss off of what I currently put in, which is $82. See, the liquidation price right here is 58,990. So I could technically, if this continues to grow, once it reaches 58,990, it'll liquidate me, meaning it'll close my position automatically. But that's also the amount of growth that I've had. So I started my position here at 59290, and then that $700 difference, which is the growth, whatever that percentage may be, is how much more money I've made off of my initial amount that I've put in.
Is leverage necessary to open a position?
It's so you would realistically only trade futures with the intentions to use the leverages, because the beauty of the leverages is the multiplication of what your original inputted amount is, right? You don't want to put $10,000 of your own money in there. You may be okay with putting $10 of your own money in there, right? So anytime someone trades in futures, which is basically what we're looking at right here, for a long or a short, you come here with the intentions of utilizing the leverage system to be able to maximize your earnings from that position that you've opened. Because if you, for example, if you don't have any intentions and do not wish to use the leveraging system, then it's no different than just realistically buying Bitcoin when it's here and hoping that it's going to go up. But what you bought Bitcoin, yeah, it's like what if you could put in $10 here to buy a portion of Bitcoin, and then when it grows and you sell up here, that growth is very, very minuscule. It's very, very little because you only put $10 in. Whereas when you have a leverage that can 100x, for example, the weight of your buy now is actually much higher than buying the stock or the currency and hoping that it's going to go up. But yeah, I mean, just a few minutes of talking here, like we've seen 15%, 20% growth already on my $80, and this will probably continue to grow. I don't know how far before it starts to go down, but as I'm watching this chart, I'm looking for signs and patterns. So I'm seeing green candle, there was one red. Now I'm seeing two green candles. If I start to see multiple red candles, that means it's going to probably start to dump. Then I'll close my position. And then when it comes down to profit taking, if I see multiple green candles, it's inevitable to eventually start to see it retrace itself and continue to come down. So I'll just close my position when I'm most comfortable taking my profits. And if for any reason you're not going to be at the computer, you can also utilize the automated take profits and automated stop loss systems that's in place as well too. So if I click on add, I can do a partial position sell or closure, or I could do my entire positions, and I can just basically input what I want and where I want. So the trigger pricing, last price, which is basically the current right here. So I could set it, say my take profit, once it reaches 59,400, I could put that in here. Or same thing for my stop loss. When do I want it to automatically close my position for me if I'm losing money? Great questions, guys. Keep them coming.
So when it comes to like the bonus money, can I close a position? I can't withdraw the money, but I can close positions, right?
Yeah. So the way the bonus works is that we'll just say you've only claimed $100, right? So you have that $100 you can use. That $100 cannot be pulled out. you can use it to earn profits, but you don't want to take those profits out until you've completely used up the free bonuses. The platform says is you can use you can use the free bonus we give you until it goes to zero. Basically, before you pull your profits out. If you pull your profits out early while you still have a bonus available to you, then we take that bonus away because you cashed out too early.
So if I open a position with $80 and I make like $10 profit, so will those, can I then use those $90 to like open a new position, or am I only allowed to use the $10?
No, that's the entirety of what's in your account. So you could use the $90 if you want to.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So technically, you could take that $100 and turn it into 500, and you can continue to use that 500 if you'd like to. It's entirely up to you. Or you could use half, or you could use less. What you do with the total amount that you've earned is entirely up to you. But eventually, once that $100 that you had has gone to zero and there's no bonus left and it's real money that you'd be using, you can either continue to open positions and close them, or you could just pull the money out and move on. But the beauty of this platform is that you can very easily make money on something like this. Additionally, as I had mentioned earlier when we started off the call, is that it's risk-free because you're not using your own money at all to get started. You're not funding it. They're funding you. There's nothing owed. So you really have nothing to lose. So pattern recognition and chart, right? So crypto moves a bit differently than the normal stock market does. Yes, as much as I said that Bitcoin is predictable, the entirety of the crypto space and the coins can also be unpredictable too. Right now, as I'm looking at the chart action during this time that we've had our call, you've seen a growth, but now it's slowly starting to decline. Now I will probably end up just closing my position. And there we go. Position closed. I made $2 out of the entirety of this, and that's because of the fees that were associated with the 100x leverage that I had selected. Now you might wonder, when would I buy back in? I could open a short position now because it's starting to decrease, or I can wait it out, which is what I probably will end up doing, and just allowing the chart to develop a little bit more so I could try to predict which direction it's going to end up going. Now, you guys could see like the impacts of the leverage itself. I put $82 in at 100x at leverage. I closed my position and only made $2. Like, that's not something that you really want to be chasing after, but it's inevitable. It will happen at some point, like we just got to see right now. But it's looking like it's going to be possibly dumping, so I'm going to take a safer route here, and instead of doing 50% of my portfolio, I'm just going to do 25%, and instead of 100x leverage, I'm going to do a 50x leverage so that I have a bigger window, and I'm going to open my short, and there we go. Now the automatic liquidation is 60,165. That's at the highest growth. So if it goes up and I'm in the negative, it's given me up to a allowance of 60 grand before it closes my position for me at that total loss. And then in this case, I mean, chart development is pretty slow. It can just continue to just drop and go down and down and down and just go from there. And then if I wanted to close my position, because I chose a 50x leverage and because I only put in $40, my fees is right here, $41. My trading fee for the leverage. So it's not just limited to Bitcoin. As I mentioned, you can do the same thing with other currencies. Some do Solana, some do Ethereum, the bigger major ones. I just like following Bitcoin because pattern recognition. I've come to recognize how this works. Additionally, what you guys can do with this platform too is, because the funds are inside of the wallet of this exchange, you can click on reverse if you want to, without having to actually close your position. So right now my position is on a short. If I want to switch it over to a long, because I'm noticing it's constantly rising, if I press reverse, it'll switch to long instead. There will still be fees associated with it, of course, but it would reverse it, and it would be the exact same leverage, the exact same amount minus fees that will be in position going for the long in this case. So the point is if you guys are going to get started with your $100, I would suggest, as you're experimenting, is stick with about 25% at minimum of the leverage if you're going to be looking to actually make an impact on the amount of funds that has been given to you for free. A 5x is good, but a 5x you'll actually see the return on that if the chart moves aggressively up or down, depending on which position you've opened up. Any more questions, guys?
I got another question about the bonus. So I'm looking at the wallet section of my account, and like I just opened it, like I have a position open, and like I was assuming that the money with my wallet balance would decrease, but does it decrease once you close a position? Because my bonus is still $199.
Yes. Think of it this way: is that regardless of which direction the chart goes and what you've bet on, whether if it's a long or a short, you're not technically at a loss until you close your position, because you're still in the game, right? So right now I'm at negative $2.77 because I bet on the short, but it obviously went into the opposite direction. I'm technically still not at a loss because my position is still open. But if I close my position right now, then I'm going to lose $2.41 plus basically the other 41 cents for the fees. And then yes, if I look at my wallet will say, it'll just kind of go up and down until this has been ultimately finalized. But to give you guys perspective, like, of just like me dabbling and playing around, I haven't deposited a single penny into this. I just claimed like $210, I think it was, because from the bonus offerings. Last long was $5. Earned $10 here. I lost $36 here because I was betting on the short, but it actually went into a long. I made $70 here. Lost $1.60, made $7, made $35, made $1, minus $6, minus $12, minus 18, minus 19, plus 2.3, made $5, lost $4, lost $11, lost $22, made $24. So like the numbers fluctuate, but it's basically the entirety of it, right? Like it's just the total combination. You're not gonna win every single one that you're a part of, but also patience is key too. Sometimes if you're impatient and you notice that the chart is just growing and growing and growing, and you are worried that it's not going to drop, because it will, right? And you close your position early, then that's where a loss can occur. But that's just ultimately how that works. But the settings that you see for the leverages, as well as the amount of money that you choose to use to open your position, is entirely up to you and your risk tolerance. Obviously, when you're given free money, people tend to be a bit more careless, because it's like, well, it's not my money. But the approach that I took with this is when I got the free money was, well, I'm going to use it with the intentions to make money off of it, so then I can bank the money that I made on it. To which I did. I mean, I know my available balance shows that it's less, but that's because I pulled money out. I no longer have a free bonus. I've used it. So I ended up just using, I'm currently using my profits, and I ended up removing a portion of my profits made as well too. I'm going to close this position since I don't know which direction it's going. But once I have an idea of where it's going to be going, I'll reopen one. If you look at Ethereum, very similar, right? So here's Ethereum. Let's look at BTC again. You see how it looks basically the same? Ethereum, BTC, pretty much the same. And then if we go into Solana, pretty much the same. So BTC determines ultimately which direction Ethereum as well as Solana will go. So that's why I just mainly stick with BTC, because it's the king of them. It's easier to follow. So before we wrap up and end the call, because I know more questions will come up, does anyone have any questions in regards to this? And it doesn't necessarily have to be betting on futures either. Like, it doesn't need to be opening long or short positions. Because KCEX is just one exchange that, like, I'm recommending because of the free money that they give you. But there are others out there. There's Coinbase, there's BitBuy, there's many. There's many of them, as a matter of fact. Qcoin, all that. They all pretty much operate the same way. They just, the platform kind of looks different, but they don't give you the same bonuses to start off with.
This one actually looks exactly the same as like Bird Eye. Have you ever gone to Bird Eye?
Yep.
It's like the same UI.
Yeah, they all generally use TradingView or a copy version of theirs.
Exactly.
So like if I click on TradingView, there it is. Like it shows me the TradingView one. This one just seems to have extras. I like the original one because like TradingView is good, but I hate that there's all these extra things that I have to constantly go in and clear out myself.
Right.
But it's all just preferences on the individual that's using the platform. I just like the original one because I don't want to see all those extra lines. I'm not buying the currency itself in large quantities. I'm just betting on whether if the price is increasing or dropping.
Nice. I think I'm gonna try it out actually.
Yeah, I mean, you have nothing to lose but free money.
Right.
Right? So, I mean, from the looks of it as well, too, it looks like it's going into a positive position. So I'm going to open up a 50%. I'm going to do a 75% leverage. And I'm going to open my long. There we go. And I'm going to let this develop for a few hours. I could either lose $80 or lose some money, depending on when I close it, or I could be up and gain. But currently, from the looks of it, it's just growing. Regardless of the few dips it had, it's just growing. So, we'll see. You guys will see a success post maybe within 15 minutes, 30 minutes, hour. Just depends, but I wouldn't be surprised if this hit 60K again. As it did here. When was this? Yesterday. 2 hours from now. It hit 60K. Cool. Anyone else? Anyone else? By the way, something like this can also help cover your expenses. Could be for the group, could be for botting or what have you. The profits you make from something like this can easily be funneled back into the monthly fees of being in this group or any other activities that you may or may not have, right? Or you can just point blank build up your portfolio and trading, and who knows, maybe it'll be something that you're excited about and you want to venture off into doing more with it outside of just trading the shorts and the longs. I mean, Nova got into trading. He does day trading, very different than this, but he makes money in a different way. But it's, he didn't know that he liked it until he actually tried it. And you guys can see, by the way, my $80 at a 75x leverage, like the growth of it is not as aggressive. $8 is $8 currently. It's only grown a little bit, but it's, if I were to be a bit more aggressive with this and had put in more money and had a higher leverage, of course the growth of it would have been probably more than this. Like could have been at 15 or $20, maybe even more. But that's just the name of the game and how this works. I'm gonna change this to 100x though. Oh, it actually looks like it automatically adjusted it to 100x for me. Maybe I'll switch it back down to 75 because that's not what I intended. I wanted it to be at 75. Cool. All right. Well, since there's no more questions, I'm going to wrap it up. If anything comes up, just feel free to ask inside of the trading chat. I'm more than happy to assist you guys. Inside of our the WAP dashboard under courses, there is a full breakdown of the different types of trading that you guys can do. Like I wrote down a detailed guide for everything. I've also explained the different types of terminology that's there as well too. If it is something that you guys are interested in and want to take advantage of, just understand that like Rome wasn't built in a day. You're not going to learn all of this overnight, and you might make mistakes and incur losses, but when you're playing with free money, it's easier to accept those losses than money that you've actually taken out of your own bank account. Either way, I'm very happy to see that you guys attended the call. Thank you. And once again, if any questions come up, don't hesitate to ask. Have a great night, guys.